By definition, marriage is the legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. Misconceptions is taking the time to highlight what marriage looks like in the Black and Brown community.
Hey, what's good, folks? I'm D'Anthony here from the Dad Vlog. This is my beautiful wife, Rachel, and today we are here and we're going to answer some of your questions.
Who were you before you met your spouse?
Yes. Who are you?
And you don't go first.
I mean, I think that I probably spent a lot less money because Rachel was like more like here with buying stuff, and I was more like, I don't really want to, but now like I've become accustomed to like buying more stuff. I don't know if that's a good thing, but that's what I was before, and now I've just conformed to how Rachel likes to do things, so which doesn't really matter to me. Who are you?
I think I was mostly the same, but I think I was more actively involved in different organizations and different things, and I think that's probably just more of a time thing because I didn't have a child, and
okay,
what?
let's not do. Oh, I used to be really good and now I suck. So let's just stay away from that.
That's not what I'm saying. I try to determine what's different because I really think I am.
You don't think you
mostly the same?
You don't think
the biggest shift.
You don't think being with me at all propelled you in any direction upward? You don't think that you grew in any way?
Yeah, I was just about to say something.
Because what I just heard was, I used to be really crappy, but now, I used to be really good. Now I'm really crappy. Okay, please.
That's what I said.
Go ahead.
I think probably the biggest change is I am more patient. I'm absolutely more patient than I was before because you're very patient, and it's forced me to be more patient even when I don't want to be. Yeah. I would say that's probably, to me at least, that's the biggest change.
All right, that's cool because now I know what mine was. Now I'm more mature now than I was before. Because before we got married, if there was something that was aggravating with me, I just didn't address it or talk about it or stay in the same room and all. Because why?
That's actually very true.
Because I don't have to.
That's very true.
And now I try to sit down and talk through whatever my issues are, which is very, very...
I can co-sign on that.
Very, very tough. So I have matured. So I was immature before. Next question.
Okay. How did you know that your spouse was the one for you?
Go ahead.
Oh, me first?
10 seconds. He's on 15 seconds. Go.
Can I say it in 15 seconds? Did I use my 15 seconds already? Honestly, it ties to the first thing, though, I think. Because I think you were... I think you were the first person that I dated that I felt it was worthwhile to like adapt myself versus just being like the standard, well, I'm the chick, I get my way, you're the dude, you have to do what I say, and just go with that.
Okay, I think that's fair. That's fair. Oh, was the one for you? This is very deep. This is a very deep thing. I'm just going to keep it very, very, very short. I think there's one thing that gets men kind of messed up, and it's the need for variety. And I don't necessarily have a need for variety. If I find something that I think that I can mesh with, I can like vibe with, I usually just go right there. So I mean, that's kind of what this was. You know, Rachel was somebody I could vibe with, hang out with, and I guess I didn't have any like criteria or anything, but all of that worked out perfectly, and I guess it was just good timing.
You knew I was the one for you because it was good timing.
Yes, it was good timing.
Okay.
You don't think it was good timing?
For who? The question is about you.
Yeah, I just told you I thought it was good timing. Because I don't have a desire for variety of anything. So you came along in a point where I was like, I'm kind of ready to, just hang out with just one person, where variety was not, it wasn't like, oh, should I go with Rachel or should I go with these other 7 women? Because, what, you feel me? Like, it wasn't like that.
So basically, you were ready to settle down and I just happened to be the person that walked past you that day. That's what you just said.
That's not.
That is exactly what you just said.
But the way you say it just sounds so like.
But that's what you just said.
Okay, were you ready
I
to
could have
down?
been any random chick on the street that walked past you
random,
that
but that's
day.
not fair. You say random, but that's not
that's
fair.
Literally how you.
Okay,
nothing you said was specific to me. Is my point. And the question is, how did you know that I was the one? Nothing you said was specific to me.
But here's what's unfair to me. And I think it's unfair to you. I think it's unfair to me if I'm just like, Rachel, nobody in the world wants you except for me, and only my traits and only my characteristics are the things that are attractive to you, and I'm the only one that's meant for you. Like, you can list off all of these 7, 8 things and say that I'm the only one for you because of these 7, 8 things. Like, I don't think that that's true.
But the question is, how did you know that I was the one?
And I thought I answered it.
You said I was ready not to mess with a lot of chicks. That literally has nothing to do with me specifically. So, like I said, I could have been anyone. There's nothing that makes that specific to me.
I can say all the cliche stuff. Oh, she's smart, funny. Like, yeah.
No, what's the actual answer? I'm not asking you for the cliche thing, although if the cliche thing is the answer, then that's the answer.
But that's going to be the answer for everybody. Like, everybody's going to say that. That's what I'm trying to...
What I'm trying to say is, what is the truth?
That is the truth. I mean, it was a point where I was like, okay, who wants to talk to 7 girls at one time? No, I don't. Maybe it's about time for me to just start looking for somebody who I can kind of build with and hang out with. And then I met you. And when I met you, it was like, oh, yeah, I can build and hang out with you. So
why?
I choose you. Why? Why can I build and hang out with you?
Yeah. Why?
Why can I build and hang out with you?
Yes. What about me made it?
See, I'm about to say
you want to build and hang out with me.
Yeah, I'm going to say all the cliche
someone
stuff.
Else.
I'm going to say all the cliche stuff. It was fun. You weren't aggravating. You were able to hold a conversation. All of that stuff seemed sweet. Semi-affectionate.
Okay, we're really doing terrible shit.
That's not terrible. Why do you think that's terrible? That's
because it's super generic.
It's not generic. How is it generic? Okay,
let's just go to the next one. Hopefully she's not using all these and it's like a pick or choose.
What's the next one?
What do you think prepared you for marriage, and how would you say that preparation has worked in your marriage? I guess the most cliche thing to say is my parents' marriage prepared me for marriage. But I would say not in the standard form of like, oh, my parents, I was like, I want to completely mirror my parents' marriage. I think both the pros and cons I was able to take from their marriage, because all marriages aren't cupcakes and roses. You see the highs and lows, and so I think I was able to absorb both of those and kind of determine what I felt like I wanted my marriage to look like based on seeing theirs through the years. I don't think that necessarily meant that I was like 100% prepared for marriage, because even watching theirs, once you get into the marriage, I think there was still stuff I was unprepared for, and it's still a learn as you go type of thing. I don't think watching any model will 100% prepare you for it.
I don't think anything really like prepared me, and this is gonna sound really weird, but the only things that probably prepared me was probably like movies, like romantic comedies and stuff, and like indirectly like my mom. But no, like I never looked at like a married couple and said I wanted to be like them. Never ever in my life. I never said, oh, I want to grow old like that, or I never said I want to be like them. Just nothing like that. Except for when it came to like movies. I was like, oh, they look like they're having fun, and I want to have fun with somebody, which was one of my main criteria. If I felt like I can't like be myself, then that was like a no, because I'm not about to put on like a front or anything for anybody. So the only thing that really and then like my mom just kind of raised me to be just like a good person, I guess, and like do stuff around the house and all of that, which I do now. So like there wasn't like a pedestal of people. There wasn't even anything like a reverse negative, like, oh, that's a really bad example, I don't want nothing like that. It wasn't even that. I just kind of watched movies, said I just want to hang out with somebody and I want it to be fun. Don't I want to have fun all the time? Mm-hmm. See? Proof.
Okay. On days that you may not like each other, how do you handle conflict in your marriage?
What?
Put it on vibrate. It keeps dinging. It's going to be in the video.
It ain't going to be in that part of the video.
Dang. On days that you may not like each other, how do you handle conflict in your marriage?
Well, I am a talker. So if there's anything that's bothering me, I just come out and just say it. But I don't say it like rude or anything.
That's funny.
What, I don't?
Well, it's funny that you start by saying, I am a talker. Mm-hmm. You are a talker most of the time, but when it comes to conflict, you're not necessarily a talker.
How are we defining conflict here?
Well, I think there's two different types. So conflict, like conflict between us, mm-hmm. I think you do address.
Yeah.
Internal conflict within you, I don't think you necessarily.
That's not the same. That's a whole different question. That's like a psychologist. Like, it's not the same thing. Just talk about like, I did something that you didn't like, or you did something that I didn't like. Let's just keep it like that. All right. Let's not get into Dr. Phil, like your dad, none of that type stuff. Mm-hmm. So just on that I am a talker in that way. So if Rachel does something that I don't like, I will just bring it up. I'll just bring it up like nicely, regularly, not like, well, I didn't like how you did this. I just gotta talk about it, because I also think that she may have done something very innocent. It was innocent to her, and it just kind of aggravated me. I always keep that open. So I never go into a situation like really aggressive. Like, do I? I do.
I mean, I would say most of the time you don't. Huh?
I don't go into a situation like aggressively.
No, most of the time you are very calm. I would say there are very few and far between where you come into the conflict heightened.
I feel like I never do. I mean, I feel like the word is never. I mean, but maybe
I don't know that it's never. I think that there are things that I could do that truly irritate you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I would say,
because I always think that I always like to give the benefit of the doubt. Like there's just something on. For example, quick story. Rachel, when we were dating, Rachel grabbed my phone and we were laying in the bed. She grabbed my phone, ran in the bathroom. I'm pissed at this moment.
But you forgot.
What?
You didn't give the good context because I thought you were asleep.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't like you weren't awake and I did it in front of you. No. You were asleep.
Yeah, so let me start over. We were laying in the bed. I was asleep, like knocked out sleep, and then I just heard Rachel get out the bed, and you know how you just reach for your phone? I reached for my phone, it wasn't there. And I knew she grabbed my phone, went in the bathroom. I am hot at this point. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see what she says because I know what my phone says. And I can explain everything in there. And I want to see what she says. She comes back to the room and she don't say nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I'm just going to wait and see what she says. Long story short, I'm still waiting to see if she ever brings this up. And she doesn't. And the reason why she didn't is because she was going through my phone to text all my friends for like a surprise. Was it graduation?
Graduation dinner.
Surprise graduation dinner. Now, if I would have blown up at her, I would have felt really stupid. So I always like to give the benefit of the doubt in situations and be like, oh, well, let me ask a couple questions and let me wait till she addresses it and things. So I'm pretty level-headed for 99% of things.
I'd say I'm 50-50. Sometimes I'm level-headed and sometimes I'm not. I am probably more of the I don't want to talk about it kind of thing.
Well, I don't do anything to you.
Alright, you know what? I think eventually we talk it out is the point here.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
So that's the best way to handle conflict.
What does love mean to you?
That's a good question. I like it.
Well, you start.
Well, that just speaks to how it's like your love languages. Right? Don't you think so?
I don't know. It's asking, what does love mean to you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that you understand it. Like, it's like, I think it's like, what's your love? What's like your love language? Like, for me, I like spending a lot of time. I like devoted focus. Like, not like cell phone focus.
Oh, you should probably do this differently because the next question is, what would you say your spouse's love language is?
All right, we're just gonna mush them together. But my language is just...
No, it asked what's your spouse's. It didn't ask what yours is. So it says, what does love mean to you? Yeah. And then, what is your spouse's?
I'm just gonna skip to
love language.
I'm gonna skip to my spouse's love language. So my spouse's love language.
So you're not gonna say what love means to you?
It means the love language to me.
Okay.
Your language is
I'll go first. So your love language is definitely it's time and touch. So it's definitely spending quality time engaged. Like meaningful engagement.
I like real engagement. Too.
Meaningful engagement. And it's like intimacy. Like being close, laying with each other, whatever. Mm-hmm. Grab your booty randomly in public. Mm-hmm. Stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. That's it. Yours, I don't know. It's always been hard for me. I don't know what it is. What is it? What is it?
I mean, what's your guess? What do you think I respond to?
I don't know, Boo. I don't know.
If you're thinking about like,
I don't know.
You don't even have a guess.
Well, the guess
so
is
how
like,
do you?
Okay, I would say time. I would say quality time. But it's like the things that get you really excited is like traveling, going out to eat, that type of stuff. Little dates. That's stuff that gets you like really excited. But I don't know what does that fall under.
It probably falls under the gifts, maybe gifts and time. Yeah. If I'm thinking about like the 5 categories in that book or whatever it is.
Yeah, so like it's
probably gifts and time, but it's not physical gifts. Like it's more experiential gifts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That takes a lot of work. What's the next one?
How do you handle accountability? Personal goals, marital goals, career goals, etc.
How do you handle accountability? How do you handle, where is it at? Let me see. How do you handle accountability?
Personal goals, marital goals, career goals. I mean, it sounds to me just like, how do we manage all the things that we individually each want to do and still support the marriage and all of that stuff?
I don't know. When it comes to career, we may be just a good tandem for career because I'm okay with not like shooting up the corporate ladder at all. I think Rachel wants to shoot up the corporate ladder.
But I think this question is not about like each of these individual. I think it's more about like, how do we just manage all of the things, all of our goals and desires individually together, and how are we like being accountable to each other and supporting all of those things?
Okay.
It sounds more like kind of like
well, you go ahead and answer
I
that.
don't know,
You
time
answer.
management.
Go ahead and answer that.
I mean, I think it's just trying to be supportive and involved in all of them is, I guess, how I would think about it.
Let's just go to the next one.
Okay.
Sorry.
If you can go back,
Gotta be more clear with some of these questions. I'd be like, what? What's happening?
if you can go back to tell yourself one thing about how you saw marriage, then if you can go back to tell yourself one thing about how you saw marriage then versus how you see marriage now, what would it be? You got something?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can go first. I don't have anything.
Sex.
Okay.
That's what I'll go back and be like, whoa, fella. All right. Not every day, pal. All right. Not every day. Definitely not during pregnancy or after pregnancy.
Wow.
Hey, that's just what I was saying.
I think mine would be maybe in the same vein, but not that specific, but more about just the focusing on time together, just us, before like making it a family. I didn't really think about the type of change that would initiate like in our relationship. So I would definitely go back and say like, take the time to do y'all before making it a family thing.
That sounds way more mature than
Yeah. But you know, hey, no, you answered it how you felt. It's fine.
All right, what's the next one?
Do you believe the saying, to enter into marriage you have to be completely whole? Or do you think this is a misconception society tends to have?
See what you did there.
Misconception.
I saw that. I got it.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go?
I do think that you need to be whole before you get with somebody else. I think you need to be your definition of established, and I don't want to just keep it in the financial realm, but I think you need to know yourself pretty well. Rachel and I met as adults, so she was pretty much kind of as put together as she was going to be. I was pretty much as put together as I was going to be. We didn't necessarily need each other for like anything. It's just that when we put our stuff together, it just came out to be good. So yes, I do think that you need to be whole, because it's already a lot of stuff to work on in the marriage anyways. And if you got to get more, it's better to come in with just kind of more of yourself figured out. That way you ain't got to spend a lot of time trying to figure yourself out in a marriage, then figure y'all, then she figuring out her, then you throw a kid in there, and it's just... So yes, I believe in it. It is not a misconception in this one. Sorry.
I think the key is the definition of whole, because I don't think that I don't believe that you need to come into a marriage whole from the standpoint of like you've perfected everything and you have worked through all your issues. I do think that the definition of being whole though is recognizing and addressing, issues that you may have, as opposed to like either being in denial or being in a place where you can't like emotionally or spiritually or whatever function through a particular issue. I think at least if you're coming to a person with like, I haven't worked all the way through this, but this is a thing that I have and I'm aware of, and like I know what I need to work on, I still consider that as whole, because you're aware and you are addressing it, versus you got all these issues that you have yet to address. Well,
I mean that's a better way to come, but I still think that for the most part,
I mean, it's ideal if you're perfect, but nobody's perfect. Is like my point. Nobody's gonna have no issues to address. Yeah. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's true. It depends on what your definition of whole is. I'm thinking like you're just kind of bare minimum got all the like immature stuff out of the way, and you can kind of like support yourself, and you understand that there's going to be two people in the house or two people together, and you know what that kind of consists of. Because some people, you go into a relationship and you just get shocked about everything, and those people are probably not like whole. Like they're probably...
But I think about whole is like you are physically, emotionally, spiritually prepared to enter into something fully with someone else.
Well, I just think of it as you understand yourself. Like you understand yourself very well. And you know that you understand yourself very well. And the other person understands themselves very well. So two people that understand themselves well come together. And that's what I think that was us. So I think I understood myself. You understood yourself when we kind of came to...
But I guess I just want to clarify that doesn't mean that we weren't both flawed.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what our flaws were, and that we couldn't articulate those flaws. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, it's not to say that being whole means you're perfect and you have no issues, but I think it's you understand your flaws and you're able to articulate them, and you either have addressed them or are addressing them.
Okay, that's right.
Okay.
What are my flaws? Do I have any flaws?
You got a lot of flaws. I don't have time to list them. So let's just go to the next question.
Misconception.
Okay. What are things you do in order to keep from losing yourself in marriage? You should probably go first.
Keep from losing myself in marriage?
Yeah, you, D'Anthony, losing you, your identity, and yourself.
Okay, yeah. I do like to spend a lot of time with myself, and I'm okay with saying no. Give me an hour or 2 hours, or let me go eat in my car, or let me go leave, not take anybody with me, and let me just go. Because I'll give them everything that I have kind of while I'm here, but very often actually I need to go by myself and just be locked away just for a little while and just work on myself. Whether it's working out, eating junk food in the car, just going to a store and just walking around by myself. Like I do that very often. I think it's very healthy for me to do that, and I will continue to do that, and I'm going to do that right now.
So I told you to go first because I know you're good at that. I'm not so good at that.
No, you're not.
I really don't have a list of anything that I can say that I do consistently to ensure that I don't lose myself. Maybe in pockets. I'll say once in a blue moon, like I don't know if I take a trip with friends, which doesn't happen like super duper like earlier this year, right? Attempted to take a trip before Corona.
She went to Peru.
Oh, not this year, last year.
She went to Peru during the beginning of COVID, but that's another.
We didn't know it was COVID.
Yeah,
anyhow, so it doesn't matter.
We did, but. Yeah.
But that's like a once in a blue moon. That's not a consistent thing.
Yeah.
If I go get a pedicure, maybe that's not consistent either. So that's something that I know that I need to do better and more of. I think part of it is just identifying what are those things that I really enjoy to do repetitively or on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I think I try to get her to hang out with people or go do something, but I mean, and then I don't want to make it sound like, hey, you get on my nerves, get out of here. But where I am working on trying to figure out what she's interested in so we can kind of pour her towards that so she can not just give all her attention to us. Only because I know it's not incredibly healthy.
All right. How do you think having children has impacted your marriage?
Ooh, sheesh. Well,
so I'll go back to one of the previous questions, which was, what would I tell myself before?
I'll go back to my previous one too, like that.
Which was spend more time together before you make it a family. I think it's honestly, it has just diluted our relationship from the standpoint of us like really focusing on us. I think we focus mostly on like the child and the household as a whole, and then like our marriage, our relationship probably like comes last in terms of like the priority list of things that we are consistently kind of thinking about every day. What's your answer? Oh, goodness. You know what?
What was the question?
How have children impacted your marriage?
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what it was. It was
Answer the question.
the bubble gut's wrong. Ooh, so they gotta edit all of this out. Tell them to get to just the meat, and it'll come out good. I promise. Okay. Sorry.
How?
Oh, having children.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I hate to be the immature one, but I mean, sex is a big deal. It really is. It is how it impacts it. Like, you know, women's body go through all these different changes and things, and they don't like want to do it when like I kind of want to. And you know, Taj is a ball of energy, and like you devote so much energy to them, then you know she devotes a lot of energy to Taj, and then by the time Taj goes to sleep, she's ready to go to sleep. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I can't wait till you go to sleep, and everybody sleep except for me. So, you know, that's how it changes. You know, and it's the same thing. I'm saying the exact same thing that you're saying. I'm just.
But I am addressing more than just sex. You are only addressing sex. I'm addressing time spent together.
Yes, me too.
I'm not only talking about in the bed.
No, I'm not just talking about in the bed either. But I know all the things that lead up to getting in the bed, and all the stuff that you're talking about is all the stuff that leads up to getting it. You think I'm just talking about time to sleep, baby, that's it?
Yes.
Well, sometimes. I'm talking about all the stuff that kind of leads up to it. The talking, the going out. You think I just want to be like, and then that's it?
Yeah.
Not all the time. So, yes.
All right. What kind of life do you desire for your marriage and your children?
I would just like to just be comfortable, have fun, and just just be able to everybody just kind of hang out and just, be just one big happy family together. Sit at the table, everybody laughs, and very romantic comedy-esque. But that's kind of what I want. I just want to have a good time. I want everything to be fun, and because there's gonna be a lot of negative stuff that comes up anyways, and I want within my home, I want to be able to control what goes on in here, and I want it to be like very comfortable, very fun. Just I want it to be home. So yeah.
I guess ditto. I guess maybe the only thing I would add is just like, I want it to be memorable. So when I think about, my childhood, or when D'Anthony thinks about his childhood, and like we share stories, like to me, like those are the memories, right? And I want those to obviously be positive memories, right? In some form or fashion. So I just want it to be memorable. Okay, last one. If you had to give someone words of encouragement for their marriage, what would it be?
Words of encouragement. I'm bad at that stuff. Just because I just think that everybody's situation is just so different. Everybody's perspectives are so different. I feel just so selfish just giving them mine, because it's going to be much different than everybody else's. The only thing that
I don't know. What? I feel like it's like all the cliche stuff comes to mind.
Well,
is the cliche stuff really helpful?
Well, the big, I guess, I don't even know if this is a cliche thing, but the big thing, I think, if you focus on like your spouse's happiness, I don't think that you can necessarily go wrong. So if you got two people that's focusing on like the other person, I think everything else just kind of falls into place, because you're playing for somebody else. And when you have something that's bigger than yourself, I think that you're more motivated to do things well, and you're more motivated to have the outcome be different than what you've seen like in life before. So if I'm keeping you first, it's good to know that you're also keeping me first. So I know the decisions that I'm making is like for you, and I know the decisions you're making is like for me. And I mean, how can you go wrong if you're honestly doing it, right?
I think in theory, but that kind of eliminates what are you doing for yourself.
No. Okay, there's clearly like levels to all of it. I'm not saying just holistically like, oh, I'm going to go put your shoes on and I'm not going to put my shoes on. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I just mean like just kind of overall stuff. Like, I know the stuff that you want, and I put those things like in front ahead, because if I relied on my own motivation, then we wouldn't have it. For example, the house. I don't really mind about. I didn't really need like a house. I was okay with staying in like a nice small condo. That wasn't motivating to me. So if I would have leaned on my own motivation, we wouldn't have a home, because I wasn't motivated. But Rachel wanted one, so my motivation kind of kicked up a little bit. So I was doing it more for her than it was for me. So I think that's the best example. But I don't like put her shoes on or nothing like that.
You have put my shoes on.
Yeah, I do put her shoes on, actually.
Well, now, because it's hard for me to reach my shoes, but anywho, words of encouragement. I feel like the most cliche yet applicable.
What's that?
Is the whole pick your battles thing. Don't let like the small stuff bring you down. And I only think that because that is truly true. Because when I think about like going from dating to marriage, like while dating, like I think there was a lot of small stuff where it was like, this isn't even really worth getting upset over. But yeah, we dating, whatever. Like I'm just, I want my way. So yep, like every little tiny thing, whatever, right? But in marriage, it's just, that's just so counterproductive and draining, that it's just not worth it. And it truly is like a pick your battles. Like, is this the thing that we really need to go in on, right? Or is this something that we can really address differently, or I can address, or I can step back and look at from his perspective and see how we got there versus like going in. I think that's, at least for me, that's like the biggest mind shift from single to marriage. Is just, is this really worth it?
Is this the hill that you're going to die on?
He says that a lot.
That's what I say.
I'm not dying on this hill. You got it, bro.
No.
And that's the one for me, really.
That's cool. I think that's fair. Pick your battles. And
what did you say?
You said pick your battles, and I said, keep your spouse. Do something bigger than you. Yeah, do something. Let your motivation be bigger than just your own happiness.
Yeah.